time has come to finally put away all the Christmas stuff. I'm gonna leave out some winter things though, like some of these trees can just be winter trees, you know, they're not really Christmassy, they're just winter stuff. I got everything from over here the other day except for the jingle bell. We can put away the jingle bell now. But this stuff I'm just gonna leave. Like this can just be a winter decoration. And this can go all the way through to Valentine's Day. I'm seeing a lot of red bow things for Valentine's Day this year, so we can leave that out through February. When I took the tree out of the living room, I got all the Christmas stuff out of there except for the Christmas pillows. And I think this tree one I'm gonna leave, because like I said, trees can be wintertime. They're not, you know, especially these pillows, it's just green trees, and then this one is just white and green with, it's actually reversible. It can be green with the white trees, or if you flip it over, it's white with the green. This one is Christmassy though. It has Christmas trees with ornaments on it, so we'll wash it and then pack it away. This needs to be put away because it says have a warm and cozy Merry Christmas. The candy cane and the candy cane pillow, we'll put those away. I do need to get the stuff off the mantle over here. I think I'll leave the trees. They're just green, you know, trees. And I'm thinking about leaving that snowflake. But the little cabin and the trees and the garland, I'll leave those up there because they can just be winter decorations. I need to find something to put though in the middle. We'll take these bells down right here. Okay, I took everything off of here. This has been like the hot cocoa station over here. So I'm gonna put some of this feeding wax, beeswax and orange oil on here. This stuff smells so good. And just rub it in. Oh, it smells wonderful. It smells really bright and citrusy. I go along the sides here too. I use a lot of red all throughout the year because, you know, I have the red curtains, I have my red chicken curtain over there, and most of the time the red tablecloth. So I use reds a lot. This is still looking somewhat Christmassy to me. I don't know.
I think it's that snowman cup.
You think it's the snowman cup? Which both of the snowman cups? We should remove those. Okay, let's see if we take away the snowman cups. Is that looking less Christmassy?
Yeah, I think you can put two different.
Yeah, we'll put two different cups up there. What about Piggy right here? Is that better?
Oh yeah, that's better.
Okay, this mug here.
Yeah.
Is that better? Yeah, that did. They were right. The snowman, they were making them look too Christmassy. But we could actually turn this snowman one around, but it's okay. We'll pack you up, little snowman.
And he said he ate 4 bowls.
Yeah, he speaks louder than words. Now it's time to cook. I need to preheat the oven to 375. We're making Cabbage Patch stew and cheddar cheese garlic biscuits. This is like the homemade version of the cheddar garlic biscuit mix. You know, you can get the Red Lobster kind or different other brands. I don't have everything that the Cabbage Patch stew recipe calls for, so I'm just gonna switch some stuff up and use what I have on hand. So we'll just call ours cabbage stew instead of Cabbage Patch stew because it's gonna be a little different.
And we don't have any patches.
Right, we don't have patches. First, we're gonna start the ground beef. While it's cooking, we'll slice up the cabbage. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on to medium and we'll put in the ground beef. We'll set this over here for now. We're gonna use that to make the garlic cheddar biscuits. I'm gonna chop up this cabbage and a couple of potatoes. If you have an onion, go ahead and get your onion ready too, because you want to cook it in there with the ground beef. But I'm all out of onions, so we're just going to be using, thought I had some onion powder, but I don't, so we'll just use some garlic powder instead. Like I said, this is use what you got stew right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and slice up the potatoes first, and we'll put them in there with the ground beef so they have a head start on getting nice and tender. And the potatoes were not in this original recipe. Like I said, I'm just using what I have on hand. So we could actually switch ours to cabbage potato stew, maybe. Or let's just call it hearty cabbage stew, because the potatoes make it hearty. I'll cut them kind of small. Okay, we'll go ahead and put these in the pot with the ground beef. Now we'll go ahead and put some garlic powder in here. And I'm going to put a little celery salt. And some black pepper. I'm doing kind of big pieces of cabbage because this is going to simmer over there for about an hour. And you don't want your cabbage just to turn into mush. I mean, unless you like it that way, then you can do it smaller. Some people like it to be that way, and some people like for it to still, you know, hold its shape. That's how we like it. Now, we won't put this in until the meat gets done and we add everything else in. We're going to use Great Northern beans. You can use any kind of bean that you want to use. The recipe actually called for kidney beans, but I didn't have any of those, so we're going with Great Northern. I'm going to open these and drain them and rinse them. Alright, the meat is done. The potatoes, let's see if they're already starting to get tender. Yeah, they're starting to get there, but they'll have plenty of time because, like I said, this is going to simmer over here for about an hour. We're going to add in the beans. We need a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Okay, 3 cups of beef broth. That's going to be almost this whole carton. We'll just leave about a cup in here. And we'll put this in the refrigerator to save for something else. There we go. Now the rest of it can go in here. I have a few of these grape tomatoes. We're just going to put these in here whole. We'll put in the cabbage. Okay, so we'll bring this to a really good simmer. Then we'll turn it down and cover it and let it cook for at least an hour. Okay, for the garlic cheddar drop biscuits, we're going to use Grandma's biscuit and pancake mix again. This came from Nora Mill Greenery, and one of y'all asked about ordering online. You can order this online. I'll link their website down below. Most of the time when I make biscuits, I make them from scratch, you know, with flour, baking powder, or either I use self-rising flour. Okay, I'm melting some butter over there in the microwave, and we're going to put in half a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. That might be a little more than half a cup, it's okay. We're going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Here's the butter, that's 5 tablespoons melted butter, and we need 2/3 of a cup of milk. Okay, now you just mix that all together, and then we'll take a spoon and drop it onto the pan. You can add some parsley flakes in here if you want to. I'm just going to melt some more butter here in just a little bit and add some garlic powder and some parsley flakes to that, and we'll brush that over the top when they get finished baking. Okay, we just drop it on here. And I'll just kind of help it along a little bit so it kind of stays in a nice round shape. If you're new to making biscuits, any drop biscuit recipe is a really easy one to start with because you don't have to worry about doing a whole lot of kneading the dough or anything like that. You just mix them and drop them. Okay, there we go. These are going in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. I'll start checking them around 15 minutes. Our stew is simmering good, so I'll turn it down to low, give it a good stir, and when it calms down a little bit, we'll put the top on it. wonderful, y'all. It's like the definition of comfort food. There are a lot of things that could actually be the definition of comfort food, but this is one of them. It's so good. I feel like Grandma made this for me. That's amazing. And these biscuits, y'all know those are good. We don't even gotta talk about it. This is great.